Hello and welcome to SoCal Prep Report with the recognizable fine sports writer at the LA Times, Eric Sondheimer. I'm Randy Rosenwald. We're out at Dorsey High School. They're about ready to begin spring football practice. Of course, Dorsey last year under Charles Mincey, who we'll talk to on this show, was the runner-up to Narbonne. We'll also have Kayvon Thibodeau, the tremendous defensive end, going into his junior year on this program today. Eric, this is a football team that's full of optimism.
Yeah, lots of top players, but there's a lot of optimists in the city section. You have Narbonne and Crenshaw that are both going to be very good. So it's going to be a fun football season ahead. And this is just the beginning. You got summer passing leagues about to start. So it's a long football season ahead.
You mentioned Narbonne. They have a giant billboard around town. Well, it's actually in Carson, real close to where the Colts hang out. How about that billboard?
Well, it's a couple miles from there, but it is interesting. Nobody's saying who paid for it to put it up, but it's a picture of Manny Douglas, the coach there, and also about the football program. Sure. So it's a nice PR move, but I still would like to know who actually paid for it, because Manny says he doesn't have the money to pay for it.
Jalen Hall was a terrific receiver last year at Hawkins, regarded by many as the top prospect as a wide receiver in the country. He transfers from Hawkins out of the city to Long Beach Poly. Now, Eric, this is a big kid. He's over 6'4". He can go and get it.
Yes, very good player, and he's joining Matt Corral from Oaks Christian, who's also there. So that's a good 1-2 offensive combination. Obviously, that will help Long Beach Poly, but they're still in the division with St. John Bosco, Mater Dei, and Corona Centennial. So they're still a little ways away from, I would think, being considered a Division I title contender.
You know, we just had the National Football League draft. Not a lot of people from the LA City section involved until after the draft, and that's what we want to talk about right now. Two players, wide receivers, who signed after the draft as free agents. We'll start with Darius Rogers, who was in the Marine League, was the co-Marine League Player of the Year back in 2011 out of Carson High School, on to USC. Now he is drafted after the fact as a free agent. He's going to Seattle.
Yeah, he was a very good player, and it shows you how talented you have to be to even just get drafted. He signed as a free agent, very well known for his catching ability, can run very strong patterns. He goes to where Pete Carroll is coaching, ex-USC coach. Right. So hopefully he'll have a chance to catch on there.
And I remember him making a big catch to beat Mater Dei in the back of the end zone at Carson. The other one, of course, is Gabe Marks, Washington State, Venice High School. He gets an opportunity with the Jets.
Yeah, I'm really high on Gabe. I think he has a great chance to catch on with the Jets. Tremendous pass catcher, very reliable, tough kid, will do whatever it takes. So I look forward to him making it.
We're going to step out. When we return, we'll meet with Charles Mincey, the second-year head coach here at Dorsey. That's next on SoCal Prep Report.
Exploring LA County's trails is now a click away. A mobile-friendly trail locator lets you discover all our county's scenic hikes. It features an interactive map that takes you inside the trail. From the elevation to the temperature, what you need to know is at your fingertips. Wondering if your dog, horse, or bike is welcome? It has that too. So discover some of LA's best-kept secrets and happy trails to you.
Well, Charles Mincey had great success not only in the National Football League at the University of Washington and at Dorsey as a player, but he had a terrific first year on campus as the head coach, leading the Dons to the championship game. They fell a little bit short at El Camino College against a very good Narbonne team, but still in all, a terrific first year. And Coach, welcome to the show once again, and I know you got a lot of things to work on in the spring, but what are you trying to get accomplished in spring ball?
Just developing a team concept, the kids kind of making sure that they're bought in. At this time of year, man, you have the kids coming from doing all kind of other things, track and field, basketball, and other sports, but trying to get them to bond as a group and as a unit and to kind of take this thing seriously and just know that the success that they're going to have is going to depend on the work that they put into it.
One of your things is trying to sell Dorsey to the community, because so many of the people are going outside the community to private schools and others. Obviously, some of the things are outside of your control. To make sure that the academics are good, that it's safe. How do you sell this school to the kids who are still going to the Boscos and other places?
Well, I sell the success that the kids here are having. The kids that are coming here, they're on the team, they're thriving. That they're doing well, and some of the stuff is out of our control, but what we can control, we control. And that the kids are, they're getting a good education, that we're following up, that we have good relationships. I got a call, I sent a text to a dean the other night and told him, I don't expect you to respond. You come back in the morning. He hit me right back that night, because those are the type of relationships that we have here. We matriculate the kids into the magnet program. The majority of the football players try to get them, in classes that are challenging, that are the college prep, and that type thing. And so
Study hall.
We kids are in study hall. Some of them are there right now. That we have a on-campus program going, and I lead by example when it comes to that. I had the opportunity to take my kids and myself and go coach at a private school, actually a Trinity League school, and we decided to come back here. And that's kind of my thing, is that I think that if these schools continue to lose the best and the brightest, which are athletes, and they typically have really good families, if those families leave and those kids leave, we're all affected by that, and they're not here to affect the kids that are coming up and create that type of culture that is, that is kind of college bound, and that takes an entire culture of kids and people and families to do that. And that's what we're developing and we're trying to keep here. And yeah, we're at a little disadvantage because, my personal belief is that some of the rules kind of are bent towards those other schools having an advantage. Some of the rule changes and some of the transfer rules are really tough when kids want to come back to the community. They've left and they want to come back, and then there's all kind of rules saying that they can't, and that kind of causes a little bit of confusion.
Charles, what'd you learn about yourself as a head coach? You can be a great football player. You have this NFL background, but it doesn't always translate into being a good head coach. Now you have a year under your belt. You had success. Where do you need to improve, and what did you learn about the head coaching job?
Well, I think being a coach is kind of akin to being a teacher, and understanding that, you may have a certain level of passion or understanding, and some of the things come naturally to you. That's why you're working in that particular field. But maybe not all these kids are going to the NFL, obviously not. And so some of the things that they get naturally may not be sports and football, and everybody, even in the NFL, the first, second, and third round went on the first day, but the majority of that team is on the last couple of days. And that's what your team as a high school coach is going to be made of, even more so. You'll have those top tier guys, but the majority of your team would be kids that may or may not play after high school. So they got to get it, and you got to kind of gear things down to them and make sure that they understand and that they feel like they're part of the team and they're bought in. And that's where you got to focus a lot of your energy. And some people don't, some coaches don't. They just focus on their top guys, and I think that's what I've learned, is that you got to focus on all those kids.
Well, the one obstacle that Dorsey has had that's prevented you guys from getting back to the top is the line play on offense, particularly. I mean, how do you overcome that? Because Coach Knox, when he was here, that was the thing he was complaining about, and it's difficult.
It is very difficult, and, Coach Knox kind of set the foundation for all of this. That he's been here, he's taken it on. Honestly, I don't know how you do it for 30 years, but the line play is actually the heart and soul of a team. And what I've done is I've tried to picture and kind of mimic what some of the teams that are really successful but don't have those big players. There's teams like De La Salle and other smaller teams that have had success at their levels. And, some of those Division III schools have gone on the state and turned things around quickly because of the line play. So you have to adapt and understand that you don't have those big monster type kids. You have to play a different style of football, and that's what we've kind of come to understand and do.
That's head coach Charles Mincey. He needs linemen, but one of his great linemen is on defense, a defensive end, Kayvon Thibodeau. We'll meet him next on SoCal Prep Report.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. You can't control where it will land, only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how to protect your community from wildfires.
Kayvon Thibodeau, it's really hard to believe he's going into his junior year. He's the #1 prospect in the 2019 class. Coming out of Dorsey High School, had a terrific sophomore year when he had 18 sacks. Kayvon, welcome to the show. And first and foremost, what are you trying to work on? What do you want to get accomplished during spring ball?
Well, Randy, spring ball, I'm just trying to get better. I'm trying to, as in my last, our last interview, I was saying how my technique, my speed, everything is important, and that still is. I'm keying in on my all my hand work and all my feet work and my hips. So, I got to make sure I get that, 100%.
And mainly with you, I know you appreciate the rankings, but you also realize that everybody's coming after you. They're challenging you. They want to see if you really are the best. And you enjoy the challenge because you want to prove that you are the best.
Well, honestly, I love it. I love playing against great players. You can't be the best unless you defeat the best. So that's my goal. My goal is to defeat anyone who steps in front of me. Anybody else who says they're the best, work hard, outwork them, outplay them in every play, in every game scenario, in every situation.
Right. Explain your attitude towards sacking quarterbacks. You love to sack a quarterback. It's like hitting a home run to you.
I mean, it's my job. It's what I do. So, that's what I'm best at. So that's what I try to do the most, and I try to just, make sure that pass don't get out. Make sure that he don't get the run. Make sure they don't have no time.
Kayvon, personally, you had a terrific season last year. The Dons had a great year, but you fell short. The Narbonne game, high-scoring game, you trailed early in the championship contest, rallied back, and it wasn't quite enough. How much does that fuel you personally, and how much does it fuel the team as you get ready for spring ball?
Well, Randy, there's no room for coming up short this year. It's nothing less than winning. So we got to win. You got to be the best. You got to work the hardest, and everybody's buying into it. The community, the team, the teachers, everybody. Everybody wants to see us do great things. So that's all we're here to do.
I understand that you love to be in the weight room.
I love it. I just left the weight room. I'm going back after this. So, it's just, you can never be too strong. You can never be too athletic. So, and there's always somebody trying to catch you.
But one thing that people don't know about you is how smart you are. I mean, you have a 4.0 grade point average. Your mom is never satisfied unless you get a 4.0. Explain how strict your mom is.
Well, my mom, she don't play. She's on me every day. She's on me, checking my homework, making sure, I'm doing the best that I could, striving to be the best me. So at a young age, she used to get on me a lot, make sure you do this, make sure. But now she just knows, so everything I do is second nature, and I keep going,
Right, and you want to be a lawyer someday after football is over.
Yeah, I started to be a lawyer. I'm gonna after I get drafted and go to the league, play my years, I'm gonna come back and finish law school, and probably go private, a law firm, and see where it takes me.
We're standing in an interesting spot here at Dorsey High School. Right behind us is a mural of the late Kevin Copeland, who unfortunately passed away on the field in practice.
No, it was in a game.
It was in a game. Talk about Kevin Copeland and the inspiration that he brings to you and the school here.
Well, Kevin Copeland was just a big man in the community. Everybody loved him. He had, everything that was going right for him. He had scholarships. He had everything that a player could want. And for his life to be taken on the field during the game, it was a playoff game at that. It was big. So the team, I remember we watched a documentary on it where the team just came back and they won the championship. They did everything they could to make sure that his legacy lived on. It was like everybody in the community was at his funeral. They wanted it to be televised. It was a big situation. So we just use him as an inspiration, as in he came from the same area as us, and, we just have to be somebody to somebody else,
Let's talk about some of the players who you look forward to working with this year, because there's a lot of returnees like Isaiah Small at tight end and some of the other players. Explain or tell us some of the other players that you're excited about.
Well, we got these, our DBs, all our DBs are back. Only one, Marquette Jackson, who graduated, but everybody's back. We got Joseph Williams, we got Deion Bascom, we got Bryce Brown. Then on the offensive side, we got Isaiah back. Isaiah's gonna be a big help for us.
Charles Mincey Jr.
Yeah. Charles, Charles, he's a monster. He's truly the best running back I've seen. And I don't know how long.
Can you tackle him?
Yeah, most definitely. If there's one thing I can do, I probably won't hit him, probably won't make him fumble, but I'll tackle him. I can tackle anybody, and that's, what I do.
Kayvon Thibodeau, one of the reasons a lot of people feel Dorsey this year's got a shot undoubtedly to unseat the champions from Narbonne. We'll step out and have a lot more right after this on SoCal Prep Report.
What's happening in LA? I'm Ariane Alexander. This week we have 3 events for you to celebrate the diversity that exists all around Los Angeles. Take a look. Old Town Newhall Library is getting down with jam sessions. This Thursday, Contra Tiempo, an urban Latin dance company, will lead an exploration of the Ruta de Casino. This fun social dance is a Cuban form of salsa danced in a circle. Leave inspired, engaged, and better at communicating through movement. Practice your new dance steps during live music performances later that evening featuring Orquesta Charangoa. All jam sessions are free and all are welcome. For details, go to fordtheaters.org. The American Indian Student Association at UCLA proudly presents the 32nd annual UCLA Powwow. Come out to UCLA on Saturday and Sunday for dancing and singing contests, as well as a Miss UCLA Powwow pageant. Admission is free and open to the public. For the schedule of events, go to uclapowwow.org. On Sunday, take your family to Fiesta Masori at the Japanese American Cultural and Community Center. Through art, dance, and song, this fiesta immerses families in the vibrant traditions of Japan and Mexico for a cross-cultural celebration of children. Workshops and activities are designed for children of all ages to engage with culture and community. There will also be diverse performances that include traditional dances from each culture. Admission is free to all. For more info, go to jaccc.org. It's a cultural extravaganza this week. Take out your family and friends, all for free. I'm Ariane Alexander for What's Happening in LA, and I'll see you next week.
Hi everybody, I'm Rich Estrella and welcome to the SoCal Prep Report. Today we come to you from the Diamond Bar Golf Course, the site of the Rio League championships, the league finals if you will, and we're here with our golf correspondent Jim Arnold. And Jim, beautiful place today, great gate. What are they playing, 18 today?
18 holes today, you got it.
All right, so what's going on? This is the Rio League championships. You know, golf is kind of an esoteric sport for a lot of people out there. It's not really mainstream where you can get on the tube and see it in high school, or you can go turn to the paper and see it in the back. I mean, it's just really don't see it at a lot of places, but golf is big in high school.
Yeah, it is. The Rio League, we have our league prelims going on right now. That was yesterday. We started with 36 golfers. Top 16 scorers showed up today, and they're going to play another 18 holes. And from those 2-day scores, what's going to happen is the top 4 are going to go to CIF, and they'll be playing next week in the CIF individuals.
So, all right, just like wrestling, just like a lot of other sports, you know, you got to have the qualifiers, and that's what this is today. So today you guys wrap it up.
We're wrapping it up today, exactly. We'll take the scores from yesterday. After they're all done, we'll meet up, and we'll go ahead and tally up the scores, and top 4, they move on.
How's it work? Everybody in the league gets to come to the playoffs? Everybody?
Each school brings 6. So
Okay.
yesterday, everybody about 6 golfers, and then it's just open forum from there. Whoever makes it, makes it.
How many guys are on your team, typically?
You know, a lot of the schools struggle in the Rio League to get golfers, except for Lucerna. Lucerna's kind of the top dog. They have Friendly Hills up top. So they
got
have
3 golf courses, you know, around the corner. I mean, everywhere you're up there, you got a golf course.
They're above the boulevard. Everybody wants to be above the boulevard these
that's
days.
true.
So everybody brings 6. A typical team will be anywhere from 10 to 11.
Wow.
And the interesting thing is here today, we have girls mixed up with boys. Most of our schools don't have a girls team, so the girls are allowed to play with the boys in the spring. We're going to actually start a girls team next year. So we'll have girls in the fall, boys in the spring. So we'll be completely separate.
Wow, interesting. Now, tell us, I know, like you said, it's hard getting a lot of golfers in this area in particular because there's not a lot of golf courses except, of course, at Lucerna. So how do these guys just golfers naturally? In other words, how do you recruit them? How do you find out to get them on the golf team? Does the school have clubs, you know, these Thorper clubs and stuff like that, the old bent ones and stuff, or Rusty?
There's some clubs in the PE area and department, but truthfully what I had to do this year, because I started out from scratch, was I had to explain to kids, hey, this is a tee. This is what you put the ball on. So I started from scratch.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
I love
dead
that
serious,
story.
yeah. But anyways, I got a lot of people donate stuff. I went out and talked to some people that I knew and got some clubs donated. So a lot of my kids are using my clubs and shoes that I have gotten donated. And hopefully,
not?
and my thing is I'm just trying to get them to take it with them in life, you know, so they can do it in business and take it and, you know, establish some relationships.
But I gotta think that there's got to be a few guys out there that just got their club. They got their Callaways, man. They got their their covers on their woods and all that stuff, and take it very seriously.
There's about 16 kids out here, and I would guess probably 8, 9 have legit equipment and practice all the time, maybe even have their own swing coaches that they work with off to the side. So there are some like that, yes.
I got to think that, being a golfer, which I am not, by the way, you got to put in a lot of time. So I would think that a lot of these kids that are the upper echelon have put in their time. They got to have, memberships to some of these clubs around here.
A lot of them do. A lot of them have some, well, if they're not in the private memberships, a lot of times they'll go to La Mirada. La Mirada Golf Course, very friendly to high school golf. And a lot of them go over there and practice a lot, and they get a lot better.
Yeah, you can tell it's friendly. All the divots in the ground, man. Don't they cover those things up anymore?
Well, they're supposed to, yeah. I mean, our kids, you got to teach them. You got to teach them to fix their divots on the greens, and it's an interesting sport. This particular area, Diamond Bar, has some really good golfers. I'm talking kids that move on. A lot of these kids want to play in college, and a lot of the girls have a very good opportunity. Girls golf right now is a hotbed. You could be kind of an average girl golfer. People are going to take you. They want to start girls golf up in college, so it's a big thing right now.
Yeah, golf has actually been pretty big for the women. I know my sister went to college on a golf scholarship, so yeah, I know they're out there looking. So let's talk about practice now.
Oh, man,
I mean, obviously you golf. You're a former football coach. That's your forte, but golfing, I mean, what are you teaching, man? What can you teach some of these kids, especially the ones that already have the training?
Well, a lot of the kids that have the training, I mean, they're a lot better than I am. So what am I going to tell them?
I love that.
But they have their private coaches they spend a lot of time with.
Right.
The kids that are starting out, you get them to the range, you talk about putting, you talk about the basics of putting, you talk about getting the ball in the air and what they can do. And, I try to get a lot of the softball kids and baseball kids that don't make it because they already have a swing path. They understand the concept of turning the body. And you just go from there and you do the best you can.
Wow. So when you go golf, I mean, what do you do at practice? I mean, you can't hit at the high school, right? I'm not going to let you go on the field. And I mean, you guys got that synthetic turf, and even in the back, the baseball coach would have a fit.
Oh yeah, we don't do that. No, we establish ourselves out of La Mirada. La Mirada is big for a lot of schools to practice. Pico Rivera in our area. Whittier Narrows is big. Candlewood not so much because it's private, but most people use La Mirada Golf Course.
Yeah. So again, there's not much you can teach. I mean, you go there, you hit with them. Do you guys shoot 9 holes? I mean, what's a typical practice?
Typical practice is 9 holes, and a typical match against another school is 9 holes. Today we're playing 18 because it's league prelims and finals, but it's 9 holes, and it's basically 6 golfers each, and you take the 5 best scores, and the low round wins. So
because there's no real strategy, right? I mean, it's not like football or wrestling where you can move weights around to get guys so you can win your matches and win the game, so to speak, the match. But in golf, it's just kind of like, hey, man, the best 6 go out there. Good luck, everybody.
It's you and the ball. That's kind of the nice thing about it. It's like tennis. I'm not really competing against you.
Right.
I'm competing against myself and the ball, and I'm just going to shoot the lowest score I can.
So tell us, is this what happens to football coaches? They retire and teach golf?
Well, if they're smart, hell yeah, it is.
Listen, I don't blame you, man. It's got to be a whole different life. You're going from managing maybe 80, actually maybe a couple hundred kids in your entire program in football to managing, just maybe a dozen or so in golf.
It's a huge difference. So, some programs have more than a dozen. Some programs have 20 kids.
Yeah.
But going from 200 to 12 is awfully nice, I'll be honest with you.
So how do you recruit the girls? They just come out? I mean, being that they don't have their own division, right?
I had to actually put some ads in our bulletin and try to get some girls. I had a couple coaches that had some daughters that are playing. My principal's daughter's playing this year. And I'm out there scrounging kids saying, hey, who wants to play golf? I actually get a practice mat, and I go out in the quad, and I get pizza, and I say, hey, who can put it in the bucket? And just scrounge up, interest.
Now, has the fact that Tiger Woods has declined in terms of his competitiveness, and we've seen golf take a hit. Have you noticed that, the participation level in high school because of this?
I really don't think so, to be honest with you. I mean, he was big for the sport, but I think it's rebounded. I think it's doing very well right now. I think a lot of the kids enjoy golf, and I think it's something that's going to get better and get more popular.
All right. Well, listen, Coach, I'll let you get back out there and have a look around, and of course, you have all your kids out here today from Cal. But thanks for joining us today and letting people know out there what's going on in high school golf, because, again, I don't think anybody has done a story on high school golf since Tiger Woods was in high school. I'll be honest with you, Jim.
It's always a pleasure.
And you're the man.
No, you're the man.
No, you're the man.
No, you are.
I know I am. All right, Jimmy, good luck. Hit you right on a golf cart, man. Get out of here. All right. We appreciate it. That's Jim Arnold, our golf correspondent from California High School. And we're going to leave you now here from the SoCal Prep Report. We hope you enjoyed our presentation today. On behalf of Rosenblum and my boy Eric Sondheimer, I'm Rich Estrella, and so long from the SoCal Prep Report, the Southern Section edition. See you next week, everybody. We're going to leave you with the CIF Southern Section baseball and softball top 10s. A lot of divisions out there. See you next week.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
You know, just a couple weeks ago, we had Hunter Green on the program, the great young shortstop and pitcher at Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks. And Eric, he's on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, only the 13th ever high school athlete to make the cover. Just, he's well-deserving, great kid. He's not going to probably pitch the rest of the season. Coach Tom Dills decided they want to protect that arm, so they will protect his place in the draft, which I can understand. It will hurt Notre Dame's chances to win Division I, but he's that kind of a player, a lot of money at stake, but well-deserving, and it's been great to cover him the last 4 years.
Some of those other names that were on the cover, LeBron James and Bryce Harper. Now you have Hunter Green joining that kind of company. That's really great stuff for Hunter Green. Baseball, we're mentioning it here with Hunter Green in the southern section. The city section, Chatsworth continues to play well in the West Valley. Venice lost a game in the Western League, upset by University.
Yeah, right now it's Chatsworth as the number 1 seed for Division I. Another couple weeks, so we'll get that done. And after that, it's wide open. Like El Camino Real right now is in second place, but they've lost to certain schools that it's gonna crazy. They lost to Venice one time.
Yeah, but who won the championship last year?
They lost to Narbonne, but I'm talking about seeding. This kind of complicates the seeding. But then you have Cleveland, which beat some of those same teams. They beat them. So, and you have Taft with a victory over Venice, and Taft is in near last place. So who knows how the seedings are going to go, but right now it's Chatsworth to lose.
Yeah, the West Valley's been strong in recent years. It's going to be interesting. You never really know. One thing we do know, Chatsworth always seems to get to the finals. El Camino doesn't do quite as well during the regular season, but they do great in the playoffs, and they're the reigning champion. So don't overlook ECR. That West Valley is something else, isn't it?
Yes, Dodger Stadium. Are you going to be there?
I hope so. That's June 3rd. So for Eric Sondheimer, I'm Randy Rosenbaum. I know one thing. We'll be back here next week on SoCal Prep Report. We'll see you then.
When I get older, I want to be an agricultural scientist because I like finding out new things and helping other people.
I want to be a police officer.
I just want to be a model.
I want to be an FBI agent because I get to save many lives.
I want to play basketball.
Author, filmmaker. We need to give these children a chance to succeed. I know I was a foster child. Be a foster or adoptive parent. Share your heart, share your home.